And if you've been down at a polling booth and thought things seemed extra combative this year, you're not alone. I hit the streets to find out just why we're seeing more biff on the hustings this election.
In the lead up to election day, tensions have been running high.
I hit you. Oh, just all game. Take both of you and walk away.
Two people have been charged following separate violent incidents.
Allegedly assaulting a 79-year-old man at a polling booth.
The federal election is bearing down upon us, and the fight in some key battleground seats has literally spilled out onto the streets. So I'm here to find out what's getting everyone so hot under the collar. Have you noticed that there's been a little bit of tension around in the election this year?
Oh, definitely. Even walking in there, it seems like, so it's a bit like that, I think. You kind of just want to get out of there.
I think it has been a very contentious election.
Why do you think that is?
There are just some major issues, and the fact that Trump came into America, I think he really put a spanner in the works for Australia. There's this greater divide in America. We seem to think there should be one here.
I think politics in Australia is a scare campaign at its core, as opposed to saying, I've got a big stick, convince everyone else that the other guy has the big stick.
The affluent inner Melbourne seat of Kooyong has had more than its fair share of drama this campaign.
Members of the Plymouth Brethren Christian Church have been organised in their hundreds to go to these electorates to try and sway people to vote for the Conservative parties.
This campaign feels very different from 2022. I think there's probably a number of reasons for that. It's been a tough 3 years for the country. We've been in a cost of living crisis. We went through a referendum which was really divisive. And then the Jewish community and the Palestinian community in this country have been traumatised.
1,800 bases a day. And what are you going to do now, Machete Jones? I want the politicians to address.
It's really disappointing. We've had a number of community forums in Kooyong in the last couple of weeks. 2 of them were disrupted by far-right protesters. That didn't happen in 2022, and I think it's a new thing in this community. It's distressing. It's distressing for people who want to just come out and talk about issues that matter to them. I really hope we can dial down some of these tensions within the community.
What have you seen here? How would you rate the behaviour of everyone who's come?
We do have a number of far-right groups who are here actively addressing voters, and at times I think some of their behaviour's been a bit suboptimal.
What's been the reaction from voters with far-right groups here?
Well, I think to some extent there's confusion, because at least one of the far-right groups is wearing vests that make them look like they're from the AEC, so they're a bit cross when they hear that it's Advance Australia, which is a far-right group. In other respects, I think this whole getting in your face and telling people how to vote thing isn't really very well received by your average Australian voter.
Unhelpfully, Monique's own husband was caught up in his own controversy.
Hang on, mate. What are you doing?
It's not taking the sign down. It's a legally put up sign.
Election campaigns should be fun. They should be a chance for inclusiveness and engagement.
It's a bit hectic. I've heard around here there's been a bit of action going on.
What do you mean by action?
Just a bit of... Someone just said it's like walking... They felt like it was walking to an abortion clinic.
Really?
It was actually fine. It was very mutual. Apart from out the front, there's a lot of shoving papers in faces and stuff.
What's that like to experience?
Not nice. I was very overwhelmed. I was like, well, just hiding behind the boys.
I think it's a little bit intrusive. All the parties trying to push their flyers through. I think it's a little bit more charged. Parties trying to get their votes through last minute, I guess.
Politics is just unkind around the whole world at the moment. But like any election, it's vote for me and I can do this for you right now.
Luckily, some voters are still focused on the most important issues this election.
I'd like to see one democratic process change. Instead of democracy sausages, we really should have democracy donuts.
Yeah.
It never occurred to me that.
I think there's a hole in his plan.
I just say that lovely man then returned to us. It was freezing. We went to a few of those polling stations during the week, and he came back with all of these donuts for us and the crew to make sure. He's like, just so you know.
He's
trying
to make
politics fun, isn't
he?
That's right. He's lobbying hard.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah.
How do you, though, I mean, you were speaking with Monique Ryan there. How did she answer with a straight face that there needs to be more decorum at these places when her own husband ripped down a poster?
Yeah, I think this is the issue, right? Because we're seeing potentially not the best behaviour from voters, from volunteers, from people running campaigns as well. And that's tangible, like it's palpable when you go to these venues, especially it's not even election day yet. These are all the pre-polling centres for people who are voting early as well.
Yeah.
And while people had different experiences and sometimes it was very peaceful, because of that underlying sense of, I don't know if it does feel combative, you will have agitators and aggressors take advantage of that.
Yeah.
And we are seeing some of those groups.
I think we've got to keep. I haven't voted, no.
Not
But
yet,
I think we've got to keep two things separate. One is like parties getting up to shenanigans, like the ripping down of posters. That's been going on forever. What I think we're starting to see now is third-party activist groups that are not formally aligned with parties, and they're getting involved. And I think that's where a lot of the, what do you call it, radicalisation is starting to happen.
Stirring up,
and a seat like Kooyong is particularly interesting in that regard because it's kind of a civil war. It's a teal seat, right? So you've got the coalition and then you've got those who used to be coalition. And that's a very different thing to a Labor-Liberal fight, which we're kind of used to. This is the coalition lost it. They've got to get it back. And so the stakes become heightened in that sort of situation.
So it's a brave new world. Donuts, it's crazy. I know. It's all falling apart.